Hello, I am Chulkuro, a teacher from Lead who works at Donglim Elementary School in the Gwangju Metropolitan Office of Education. In this lesson, I would like to explain how to create and operate an online classroom using Google Classroom and a case study using Google Classroom. This is the learning sequence. In order to explain the creation and operation of an online classroom, first, I would like to introduce Google Classroom and how to create it. Second, I will guide you on creating assignments. Third, class design and examples using Google Classroom. Finally, class design and examples using Google Forms. First, I will introduce the Google Classroom and create Classroom on the web. Google Classroom is a Google-based program that connects many friends to work within one file, such as Google Survey, Google Slide, Spreadsheet, Google Art and Culture, and Maps. In other words, it's a platform where teaching and learning are all done in one place. Several people can work in real time at the same time, using a single sheet. And if necessary, teachers can assign individual assignment to students to perform, and teachers can evaluate and feedback their assignments. Using the slides on the Google Classroom platform, your students make presentations and present them in front of others. In addition, teacher-student and student-student feedback can be provided. And if it is used usefully, it can be very effective. The 4 types of Google content most used in Google Classroom: Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Forms to use surveys and evaluations, and Google Spreadsheets. There are many other apps that you can use for teaching your students on a pad or cell phone, but I recommend that you start by downloading the essential app Google Classroom. And these 4 apps, there are 2 ways to access Google Classroom. Access Google Chrome on your computer, and then click the 9 dots on the right side of the window to find Classroom, or type Classroom in the search bar. It is recommended to download and use the Google Classroom app on a student pad or smartphone, and students need to sign up using their Google ID. The teacher has to create a classroom before having class. Assuming you are using a computer, log into Classroom, click in the upper right corner, and click Create a Class. After that, write the name and title of your class, and click to create a classroom. I have been using Classroom for 3 years. And as you can see, there are 3 classrooms. I'm not sure if it'll be useful for lower grades, but I think it's very useful for the 3rd grade and older. All students must have a Google ID before operating Classroom. And it is good to synchronize the Google ID with the smart device they use. Have students sign up for Classroom through their Google ID. Class code is located in the middle left of the main screen of Classroom. Students press the button at the top of the pad, click Join a Class, and enter the class code created by the teacher. Second, it is a way for teachers to create assignments. To create an assignments based on a computer, stream class, user, and grades at the top are listed. Among them, click Class. At the top of the window, there is a To Make button, and if you click the To Make button, a window will appear from assignment to topic. Based on the pad, there is a class assignment below. There is a button at the right end, and you can create an assignment by clicking on it. In the To Make tab, Quiz Assignment allows you to create Google Forms directly. After you make an assignment, press and click Google Forms. Then the same document appears. If you click Topic in To Make, you can make a separate section. I make and use various sections, such as social studies, Korean language, review questions, and creative experience activity according to subjects. Based on working on a computer, when creating an assignment, write a title and instructions, and click the button below to select a document type, such as Google Docs, Slides, or Sheets. If you are using a pad, it is better to go into Google Chrome and use the web to make it without using the Classroom app. This is because the assignment is created in the pad, but the document type does not appear. Anyway, you can create an assignment after setting up. Press the button and create a document such as a slide or Google Docs. Then return to the assignment window. Initially, the document type is set to give students permission to view files. You can convert this document type into 3 types. The first is give students permission to view file. The second is give students permission to edit file. And the third is copies provided per student. Give students permission to view file allows students to view only slides, not editing. It is good for the teacher to change the permission to view files when students turn and present their reports or materials after they have finished creating them. This is because if not, students may delete or transform while viewing. Second, if you click the Give Students Permission to Edit file, students can edit. Always make sure it is editable before starting class, and have students create presentations or reports. This is a mode in which several students participate. And finally, copies provided per student is to give each student an individual assignment. Since this is an individual assignment, all students can do their own assignments on one slide and cannot see other students' assignments. Instead, because students do it individually, they can perform the assignments without being erased or transformed. Press Save on the upper right when document type is completed. Then the assignments is created, and you can modify it at any time by pressing the 3 dots on the right side of the document. First, the Give Students Permission to View file is used when students finish their assignments and see other student works, or when the presenter is presenting. The listeners use the pad to view the presenter's material on their own pad. If you do it with Give Students Permission to Edit file, the content can be erased. So it is better to change it to the View file to prevent the content from being erased. Give Students Permission to Edit file is used when several students work together on one slide. In some cases, individual pages are given to one file to do the assignments, or slides are given to each group, so that each group can do the task together. The advantage of Give Students Permission to Edit file is that students can view other classmates' assignments while creating their own reports, and the teacher can observe or give feedback on how students do assignments in one slide in real time. There are disadvantages, too, because many students are on the same slide. It can affect other student sheets while performing. It can be erased, or some students can change what others are doing. And since several students are together on one sheet, the file capacity increases, which can be slowed down when performing. How to make up for shortcomings in edit files are: first, when providing assignments, slides are divided into 2 or 3 groups to compensate for slowing down and students' mistakes. Second, based on the computer, the teacher accesses the slide together and periodically stores it by file version history, naming the current version. Even if it is erased, it can be recalled from file version history, view version history. Copies provided per student is used to give each individual an assignment and to conduct an objective evaluation. The advantage is that Since each individual is given an assignment, it is not erased or deformed, so the assignment can be safely performed. In addition, it is possible for teachers to numerically evaluate each individual with the assignments submitted. The disadvantage is that when performing the assignment, it is difficult for the teacher to feedback in real time, and the assignment performance process between friends cannot be seen. The way to make a reference table and evaluate students when using copies provided per student is to make an evaluation criteria first by pressing reference table in the lower right before making an assignment. The title and description of the criteria and the criteria of S, A, and B grades are created. And you can click Add Criteria below to distribute the criteria in detail. You can also set numerical scores on the right. When students submit their assignments, you can give them points by clicking View Assignments. You can give each student a score by using the reference table that is created before. Third, I would like to explain the class design and case with the classroom slide. It is recommended that teachers make templates before classes with Google Slides. The example work is 4th grade Social Studies, making Korea's Cultural Heritage Report. The students were only 4th grade, and not long after they took classes with Classroom and Pad. Therefore, the teacher gave each person a sample and a template in advance, so that they could be comfortable. Teachers also let students know how to capture and paste photos or images before class. Make individual templates for students to adjust to slides. Then gradually, students can decorate themselves. Next, I would like to introduce a class case using the classroom slide. It is a student's work of the 4th grade, the first semester Korean language Imagine and Write. A students made a story using 4 to 5 pictures. The following is an example of the class 4th grade first semester Social Studies investigating our local people. I provided only white slides because the students were very skilled. Each student chose a method among Thinking Net, report, and newspaper to make presentation materials. This is an example of the 6th grade second semester Social Studies survey and travel planning in various countries around the world. It was conducted in groups. One slide was provided for each group. First, after selecting a country, researching its cultural heritage and food, they made travel plans. For flights, the Sky Scanner app was used, and for hotel accommodation, Booking.com or Hotels Combine was used. This is a case of using it for career activities in subject Creative Experience activities for the 6th grade. Students explored themselves and introduced their futures and wrote resumes for their future careers. This is a computer-recorded video of students decorating slides in real time. Let us watching video. Teacher can observe the students' activities in real time and give feedback immediately on the parts that students find difficult. In the last chapter, I would like to introduce a class case using a Google survey. As an example of using Google's survey, this year I am always doing review questions in social studies. The topics section called Social Studies Review Questions was created and operated separately, and I have asked students to solve about 4 review questions. As for the review questions, Google Forms was used. To create a questionnaire is by clicking on Assignment, writing the title and guidance, and pressing among the 5 icons below. Click the purple icon at the bottom, Survey, to go to the questionnaire making section. As you can see in this slide, I had a time to review what learners studied that day by solving quizzes using Google surveys at the final stage of social studies. It is created by a teacher in advance. It takes about 7 minutes to solve and check the quizzes with the students. This slide is the example of using Google survey after finishing one unit of the math. At the end of the unit, you can use the Google survey to evaluate with 10 to 20 questions. After evaluating using a Google survey with students, you can check where each student checked their answers and what answers they wrote by looking at the responses. The following is an example of a class in which students evaluate each other by looking at the report made by Google Slides as a student mutual evaluation. Teachers can make student mutual assessment questions with Google Forms in advance. Students use it to evaluate other friends in Google surveys while looking at other friends' works. While a student makes a presentation, the others who listen to the presentation evaluate their friends' results through Google Forms created by the teacher. In this way, Classroom and Google tools are good learning contents because they can be actively applied in online and offline classes and can be used for evaluation as well as classes. If you use them actively in class, you will be able to efficiently manage and teach classes. His has been Chul Kuro from Don Grim Elementary School in Gwangju. Thank you for watching.